Hello there, and thank you for joining us on this 7-day journey to the Secrets Papagayo Resort in Costa Rica. We flew from Tampa to Liberia and then rented an SUV for the short, easy drive up to the resort on the northwest coast of Costa Rica. The drive itself really only took about 20 or 25 minutes on paved roads the entire way, so that made it very easy for us to get there. The check-in was easy. They'll park the car for you and you can just start enjoying your vacation right away. There will be a link at the end of this video that will take you to the full resort and room tour. That'll give you a better idea of what the resort itself is actually like, more so than this, which is just kind of a day-by-day listing of the things that we did. And then once we got all checked in and settled in our room, dinner that night was at Himitsu. That's their Oriental and sushi restaurant that is actually very, very good and also happens to serve the best martinis at the resort that you can possibly get. The service here was great, the food was good, and you didn't even have to ask for a second martini. They just kind of brought it to you since this is an all-inclusive resort. And then after dinner, we started heading out to see what kind of entertainment there was, and each night they usually had some sort of entertainment hanging around. So our next day, we decided to go ahead and get up and spend a day just kind of getting to know the resort. So our first stop off was going to go over to the gym and get a good workout in. Depending on where you stay in the resort, just getting to the gym might be a bit of a early morning walking workout because it is a fairly hilly resort and it does kind of get spread out all over the side of the hills, so you will get some exercise in depending on where your room is in relation to where the gym is. But the rest of the day was kind of spending some time at the pool and then also grabbing some drinks and staying out of the rain there. That night we ended up having dinner at Portofino's. It's their Italian-themed, more formal restaurant. The food here was really good, but very Italian-inspired so that you get an idea of what you're getting into there. And they do kind of have a bit of a dress code here where they want you to wear pants and something nice. The next day we went ahead and decided to go explore a little bit of the area around the resort, and we headed down to Coco Beach area. It's still Coco Playa if you look it up on the map, and in a little bit of Spanish. We went down and did a little bit of souvenir shopping, walked through some of the shops, and then after much deliberation we went and had some lunch at El Capricio. This was a Mexican restaurant that had just some nice little open air seating, and it was right there kind of in the middle of the town to allow us to kind of sit there and enjoy a little bit of lunch while we took a rest from walking around the village area. I don't have a better way of describing it, but it is kind of a small town there. So but the beach itself is actually very nice, and the food here was relatively good. I actually really liked their Mexican food that they had here. So after grabbing some ceviche and tacos, we ended up wandering back down to the beach area so that we could get an idea of what the actual beach area was like down here. It's pretty relaxed, but like a lot of the Costa Rican beaches here on the Pacific coast side, it is dark sand, so it's not like these typical white sand beaches, but the sand itself is actually very nice. Water's nice and calm. It's not too difficult to get in, and the beach itself is actually very nice. They keep a lot of boats are actually set out here, which we'll end up seeing on the next part of this video, because this is actually where I went out of for scuba diving, which will be tomorrow. But we literally just kind of came down here to the beach and took a little boat out to one of these boats that was set on a mooring ball out here for us to kind of go off and go scuba diving. So after we spent some time at the beach, we headed back to the resort where we ended up getting dinner at Aqua. This is kind of their little outdoor restaurant that's over by the smaller quiet pool area by the gym and the spa area, and they do a little bit more of a healthy menu over there, but the food itself is still very, very good over here. So the next day was my day to go scuba diving here in Costa Rica, someplace I'd never been diving and really wanted to go. I got up a little bit early and grabbed something to eat and came out to the resort's beach that's right here off the main pool, so I could kind of show you a little bit of what this area is like right off of our resort area. It's this beautiful dark sand beach. And then after this, I headed up and grabbed the car and drove on out to Rocket Frog Divers location that was right where we were at yesterday near Cocoa Beach, where they took us out and we headed out on the dive boat. And I was lucky enough to get to see whales before we went diving. And then here is all the diving that we got to go do. So I will kind of stop the commentary here and let you kind of enjoy the diving here for the next minute or two. I did kind of label all the fish, so you can kind of get an idea. I just had a little fun with their names. But the diving here was phenomenal. A little bit cloudy as we got deep because of some temperature inversions, but other than that, it was phenomenal diving. Hopefully this video is fun or entertaining or educational in some way for you. And if it is, we would really love it if you'd hit that like and subscribe button. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll get notified of all of the travel content that we put out. We do have quite a bit of it, so please don't forget to hit that button. All right, now as we come here to the end of our dive, we're heading on back to the boat, after which I headed on back to the resort where I'd worked up an appetite, and it was time for us to go grab dinner at the Seaside Grill, which is Secrets oceanfront restaurant where you can get various different dishes. It is typically a little bit seafood inspired, so you'll get a little bit more fish and seafood dishes, but there are other stuff there. The food here is really, really good. I really enjoyed the Seaside Grill. I enjoyed what they had immensely. Our next day, we decided to do a little bit of an adventurous trip out up into the mountains. So we went up to an adventure park called Buena Vista del Rincon, and it is up into the mountains a little bit here. The roads are a little bit rough, so if you do come up here, have some sort of just at least a basic SUV. You can probably do it with a car, but it's going to be uncomfortable getting up there. So this is also a hotel and a spa, but it is mainly an adventure park that they come out and provide all kinds of different activities for people to do. Now, here we are at check-in, and you'll kind of come up here and they'll do check-in for you and let you know that you're there. We kind of booked this through Viator, so it was, whatever Viator's rate was. I think it was about $80 or $90 a person, but it wasn't too horribly expensive. We ended up getting one with the private guide who went with us the entire time we were there. We were just his two guests that he guided us through the entire park. We ended up just sticking with him the whole time. So he took us here on the hanging bridges, which is a beautiful hilltop walk that goes through the canopy of the jungle out here. You will occasionally run into some howler monkeys out here. They didn't really come bug us. You could hear them off in the distance, but the hanging bridges actually were a bit of a long course. We ended up going all the way through 14 of these bridges before coming to this little foreshadowing bit there. We'll get to the water slide later. But then after the hanging bridges, we ended up already having our gear on to go do their ziplining tour. And this is probably the longest, most fun zipline I have ever done in my life. These ziplines were long. They went all through the trees, all throughout the jungle. There were tons of different lines. I'm only going to give you a little sample of what this was like, because otherwise this video would be a half an hour long of just ziplining. So just to let you know, their ziplining there was pretty epic. It was really good. They were very open about letting you do lots of different positions as well here as we kind of get through all the longer ones that I'm going to show you. They actually let me go upside down on one of the zip lines just for fun. They don't have too much difficulty letting you do something a little bit different. So after the zip lining, we did a little bit of a cultural experience here. That ox was just there to kind of turn the wheels so that we could actually juice the sugar cane, and you could sample the way sugar cane used to be made and turned into actual sugar water. And then they had coffee and ceramics there as well. After that, we did a little walking tour out through the jungle, out through the trees here where we walked down the river, and ended up going out to this just spectacular waterfall that they do have out here in the jungle. This area was just kind of a bit of a nice relaxing walk where you could come out and get some really nice shots of the waterfall that they do have out here as part of the resort. So after the waterfall, we ended up going back to their mud baths and their hot pools. So yep, that is us getting into the mud bath, and that's the mud that you do kind of rub all over your body. You do end up rinsing it off and then heading off into a steam sauna that's powered by the kind of the volcanic vents that go throughout the area here. All these pools are heated from the volcanic vents and the hot volcanic water that's surrounding the area here. There's, I believe, 6 different pools here that you can go visit, and they do vary in their temperature. So usually someone finds one that they really like that's a really comfortable temperature for them. All right, now as we end up heading out of here, we ended up going up to the water slide here.
Ready? There she is.
That water slide was very intense, and to say the least. And then after that, we ended up getting a little tractor ride out of here and up through the jungle before we headed off back out of the resort and back to Secrets. Our next day was just another chill day here at the resort where we kind of went down and hung out at the beach. One of the neat little things you can do is walk from one pool to the other along the beaches in this area. You can also kind of hang out at the pool areas with various different reptiles that they do have here that'll run around in the resort. These guys are not too scared of the people. They kind of get used to them, but Then that night we had a wonderful dinner again at Himitsu and got a little bit more sushi for our second to last evening here at the resort. Our final day at the resort, I ended up getting up pretty early and I wanted to do a hike that morning because the resort does have hiking trails. You can go hike up this trail that's backed by room 387. It's a bit of a hike to get up here. I did the entire journey in the full resort tour at the end of that, so you can get a better idea of kind of what the hike is like. But it's probably 10 or 15 minutes to go up the side of the hill, and you get these just spectacular morning views doing this hike. So for anybody that's into that, that is an absolutely wonderful thing to go do. And then our final dinner for our vacation, we went back to the Seaside Grill since we really enjoyed the food that they had there, and we both really do like seafood. We decided we'd get a second meal there. We did eat at other places like the buffet and at the little coffee shop that they have there. Any place that you eat at this resort is actually very good. And then it was time for us to head on back home and head on back to our next adventure. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.